So there was a question from Alex Brooke, and he asked, what resources, techniques and advice would you recommend to improve my content, marketing, copywriting skills? So the best resources really are other people's marketing. That's assuming you're looking at marketing that's been tested and measured, which is the only marketing worth doing really. So it's really important to play customer, basically. Always amazed when people ask me about how to improve their business, how to improve their marketing. When I talk to them, I find that they haven't bought competing people's products. They're not in the marketing funnels of their competitors. So, if you are running, if you're running a pizza restaurant, you should obviously be going and visiting other people's restaurants and looking at the process. How do they handle the customer from the sort of beginning to the end of the process? What follow-up are they doing in particular? Because that's one of the big differences between successful businesses and unsuccessful businesses is how much follow-up the business does. So it's really important to look at who else is in your business space. What are they doing? What are they selling? How are they selling at it? Also, people who aren't competitors but who are selling to your customers or your prospective customers. So let's say you have a high-end mail-order jewellery business. It's very useful to look at other people selling jewellery, but it's also useful to look at anyone selling goods aimed at your customer base. So in this case, it would be maybe high net worth individuals. So who are selling to high net worth individuals? Maybe people selling luxury holidays, maybe people selling financial products. Because then you can pick up on the language that they're using, you can look at the processes they're using. Different markets buy in different ways. There are some people who are prepared to buy in lots of different ways, maybe going to physical store, maybe buying mail order, maybe buying from a salesperson, maybe buying online. And there are many people who only buy things in a fixed way or who buy a certain thing in a certain way. So getting into the buying processes and selling processes of your competitors and buying processes that your customers are comfortable with, that's really important because it may be you're selling something that people want, but they just don't want to buy it in the way that you're selling it. It may be that you are selling a result people want, but they don't like your solution. It's really natural in business to think that you are your own customer, and it's usually not true. So you need to really think about that, really go and get to know your customers. So that's one really important resource is look at your competitors' marketing and competitor in a broader sense. So people who are not necessarily selling the same product or solving the same problem that you're targeting, but just people who are selling to your customer base. What techniques would you recommend to improve my content, marketing, copywriting skills? So on the subject of techniques, there's a technique that all serious copywriters recommend and everyone hates it, and that is to get a pen and a piece of paper and physically copy out the classic marketing and classic adverts. So You're going to get hold of those mail order adverts that run for years and years and years and years. The John Caples ad. They laughed when I sat down at the piano, but when I began to play, ... Adverts like the Lazy Man's Lazy Man's Way to Riches, or Lazy Man's Way to Riches. Any of those long form ads, they're incredibly powerful. They were successful for a reason. The Wall Street Journal subscription ad, which is like the tale of two brothers, where it sort of tells the story of these two brothers, or two friends that sort of followed the same path in life, and one ended up, as a crack whore, and the other one was the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and the only difference is the successful one subscribed to the Wall Street Journal. So physically writing out those ads longhand, and that's a really, really good technique. Another really powerful technique, and again a very, very obvious one, is to really model the thought processes and the thought language of your target customers. So, it sounds cheesy, but complete sentences like, I was just about to buy from you, but then I noticed X. So what the customer's thinking, the prospective customer's thinking. They're looking at your website, or they're meeting you or your sales team, or they're in your store and they're just about to buy, and then they notice something or they think of something, and that stops them. Or think of the positive version of that. So complete sentences like, I knew I had to get your product when I saw that you offered X, Y, and Z. So what are your customers really thinking? Go through their thought processes. So let's say you're selling a high ticket item, so you are selling a car. What are people thinking about when they buy the car? How are they thinking when they go out shopping for a car? What are they thinking about? What are they, what's their biggest fear? So, I don't know, when someone buys a car, maybe their biggest fear is that it's going to be high maintenance. So what can you do to convince someone preferably with overwhelming proof, that when they buy a car from you, maintenance isn't going to be a big issue? Actually, having said that, a fantastic technique to just improve your copywriting by an order of magnitude is go through all the content that your customers have access to, and at every single step think, how can I add more proof? Because very little marketing contains much proof. People are always subconsciously thinking of that question: who can I trust? Or more specifically, why the fuck should I trust you? You say that this Japanese language travel course is the best, almost the quickest way to learn Japanese. Prove it. Can you show me one person who's done it, came to Japan, been successful? If you can show me one, can you show me 3, 4, 5? Okay, so just going through and thinking where you can add the proof. What advice would you recommend to improve my content copywriting skills? The kind of two most important bits of advice, I think, about marketing in general, is that successful marketing is about getting good results from bad marketing, or another way to kind of put that would be to get good results in difficult circumstances. So let's say you have a business that sells through a website and all your competitors are selling through a website, and all your competitors believe that they can't do magazine advertising because it's too expensive. Well, to go much further than any of your competitors, what you have to do is work out how to run successful magazine advertising. All right, now that might mean really working hard on your ads and your testing to get the cost per sale low enough for you to be able to make a profit, right? But it may also mean, how do you reconfigure the business so that you're able to make a profit with a high cost per sale? So let's say it costs you $200 to get a customer for an online, so in the case of Alex's book, it's an online Japanese course. Okay, and let's say through your website it costs $50 to get a customer. Through the popular magazines, say some anime magazines, for example, some manga magazines, Japanese figurine collector magazines, costing about $200 cost per sale. That's cost per first sale to acquire the customer. Well, reconfiguring the business so that you can make money off a $200 cost to acquire a customer, that just puts you in such a strong position compared to all your competitors. Because what happens if suddenly the cost per sale on the website goes up to $200, which it often does, right? So often when you first enter a market, cost per sale is low because maybe a market is underserved. Suddenly a big competitor arrives with massive investment who is prepared to go very negative on customers for a long time. Maybe they're a startup with loads of venture capital funding. Maybe they're completely clueless and they're just burning money essentially, but they can still massively damage you. With online stuff, a massive danger, I think it's called like the Liberty Bell attack or something, where you have an online product and suddenly a massive online company like Google or Facebook adds the functionality of your product into one of their existing products. So, it just kills your business. This happened, I think it was Podcast Alley, which was a big podcast review and listing site. And one day the staff woke up and saw an iTunes update where iTunes had added podcast functionality. So Apple had added podcasting functionality to podcatching functionality to iTunes, and that just killed Podcast Alley. Fortunately, they had a stupid side project called Twitter, which worked out quite well. So that's one massive piece of advice. And another piece of advice is the fundamental question in marketing is always, what can I test? So I should always be thinking, what can I test? Okay, thanks for listening. Hope that was useful. My cancer fundraising website is www.matthewdons.org. It's MATTHEWDONS.org. Please make a donation if you can. Thanks a lot.